honorable chairs, respected opposition, and my fellow debaters, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the government because they've done such a fantastic job solving youth unemployment. Oh, wait, I forgot. They haven't, unfortunately. Today's motion, as you can see behind us, is empowering youth to generate jobs. It's better than dependent on government's employment. It's not just a debate topic. It's a wake-up call. But first, let me clarify the key terms. To empower youth means equipping young people with the skills, resources, and opportunities to create their own businesses or ventures. Generating jobs means jobs and employment opportunities that comes to them and for others. Meanwhile, government employment means jobs that are directly provided by the state. Jobs that are often limited, competitive, and unsustainable for a growing population. Ladies and gentlemen, how long will we wait for governments to solve unemployment? How many more young people should waste their potential, waiting for jobs that may never come? Relying solely on government jobs is like sitting on a sinking ship, hoping it won't go under. Instead, empowering youth to create jobs allows them to take control of their futures while creating opportunities for others. And while my opponents might argue for government dependency, this mindset creates laziness, stagnation, and a cycle of blame. So I don't understand. Why depend on an outdated system when we can prepare youth to be leaders, innovators, and job creators? Young people like us are full of energy and new ideas. So by encouraging them to create businesses, we unlock their potential to solve problems in creative ways. Just take a look at Akram Boulaid, a 19-year-old student who came last year to our school and shared with us his journey. Despite his age, Akram already has valuable entrepreneurial experience. He started his own business and is learning how to create opportunities for himself and for others. And let's not forget the entrepreneurship club here at El-Araki School, where students are actively engaged in learning how to turn ideas into real businesses. The club provides a space for all of us to develop the skills and mindset needed to create our own opportunities. This is the kind of energy and innovation that we need to support in youth, and not wait around for a government job that may never come. Let's just be honest. If we continue to rely on a system that's clearly failing, we'll just keep spinning in circles. It's a simple fact. Governments simply cannot provide enough jobs for everyone. So by empowering youth to generate jobs, we reduce dependence on the government and strengthen the economy. Just imagine with me, one youth-led business can create jobs for dozens of others, breaking the cycle of unemployment. So why wait for government jobs when youth can create their own opportunities and help others along the way? In conclusion, empowering youth to generate jobs isn't just better. It's essential for building a brighter, more independent future for all of us. Waiting for a government job is like waiting for a rain in a desert. It delays progress and wastes potential. Instead of waiting for opportunities to come to them, let's encourage young people to create their own. So what's the plan? Wait for a miracle from the government, or let the youth roll up their sleeves and do what the government clearly cannot? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a society where fairness and opportunity, but mostly stability, are guaranteed for all. This is what government employment represents, the backbone of job stability that a lot of individuals rely on as a lifeline for security and safety. In many countries, government jobs provide long-term employment with stable salaries, offering security that private sectors cannot match, especially in times of economic uncertainty. We can take the case of coronavirus, where a lot of entrepreneurs and private business owners watched their project vanish in front of them in less than a year, driving their efforts to the ground. A lot of people found themselves facing a financial pinch, which had a profound impact on their mental health, increasing anxiety and stress, as people were unsure how to support themselves or their families. Meanwhile, government employees remained unaffected and unbothered, with stable incomes and job security, shielding them from the financial instability. Tell me, do you know what does it feel like to suddenly lose something you've worked on your whole life? Something you've put on your plenty time, your entire devotion, and most importantly, your entire heart. This feeling of guilt, shame, low esteem, and frustration. This feeling that we don't want the future generations to carry with them. All of this to say that we don't know what may happen tomorrow, and life can take an unexpected turn. But as individuals, I think we deserve the right to wake up today without fearing tomorrow. This is what government employment is. It's the assurance that even in the most uncertain times, you have a safety net that allows you to focus on yourself and loved ones. The comfort of knowing you're supported no matter what life throws your way. Also, have you ever thought what government employment means to people facing a financial crisis? Sure, you wouldn't, because as humans we tend to always focalize on ourselves without taking the others in consideration. Because it's through public hospitals that lives are saved, without the burden of unaffordable bills, where care is given not based on wealth but on need. Because it's through public schools that even the most in need can dream of success. Just simply imagine a child walking into a classroom knowing that its learning doesn't come with a price tag. This is equality, the capacity to bring hope and dignity to millions, reminding us that no one should ever be or feel left behind just because they lack the means. In other words, government employment is more than just a stable job. It means hope for the vulnerable. It means dignity for the disadvantaged, and security for the hardworking. A promise of compassion, care, and equality. Thank you.
In many countries, the question of how to provide jobs for young people is a big issue. Some believe government jobs are a safer and more reliable option, but this idea has serious problems. Depending on government jobs is neither practical or enough to meet the growing need for work. Instead, helping young people create their own jobs through entrepreneurship is a much better solution. In a place with fast-growing populations, governments cannot keep up with the number of people looking for work. Countries like India and Nigeria see millions of young people entering the job market every year. However, there are not enough government jobs to go around. This leaves many young people without job or with a job that do not match their skills. On the other hand, entrepreneurship tackles this issue by allowing young people to start their own business. This not only creates jobs for them, but also for others, helping to solve unemployment at its core. Another problem with relying on government jobs is that it can make young people passive and less creative. Those who wait for government jobs often miss chances to take control of their lives. Government jobs tend to be rigid and often limited. And offer limited room for growth or innovation. In contrast, entrepreneurship encourages creativity, problem solving, and leadership skills that young people that are important for personal and community success. Supporting young people to become entrepreneurs helps them reach their full potential and contribute for vibrant, growing economies. The achievement of young entrepreneurs around the world show the power of taking initiative and being innovative. For example, Mosiah Bridges, that started Mo's Bows at just 9 years old, turning his passion for fishing into a successful bow tie company. Without government help, Benjamin Kapulshnik, known as the Sneaker Don, started selling sneakers as a teenager and turned it into a highly profitable business. Alina Mose, at age 9, founded Zoli Candy, a company that makes sugar-free lollipops. Her business now makes millions each year. These stories show that young people with the right motivation and support can create jobs for themselves and others. Entrepreneurship also benefits communities in ways government jobs cannot. Business led by young people can adapt to change and grow quickly. A single entrepreneur can provide jobs for dozens of people, reducing unemployment and boosting the local economy. This ripple effect is something government jobs rarely achieve. Entrepreneurship also builds important values like independence and resilience. Unlike government roles, which often focus on fixed tasks, entrepreneurs solve real problems and drive progress in society. To help young people become entrepreneurs, they need proper support. Schools should treat practical skills like managing money, solving problems, and running a business. Young entrepreneurs also need access to funding through small loans and mentorship programs to guide them. Government can help by making it easier to start a business, offering tax breaks, and creating spaces where young people can share ideas to grow their projects. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we discuss the implications of prioritizing youth entrepreneurship over government employment. While empowering youth to create jobs is innovative, I argue that such approach carries significant risks for economic stability. To begin with, imagine a young graduate full of dreams and determination, starting a new business, borrowing money, hoping for a better future. They work tirelessly, sacrificing time and resources. But within months, the reality of harsh competition and the lack of competence take its role. According to the Small Businesses Administration, approximately 20% of small businesses fail in their first year, and about 50% fail within 5 years. Each failure represents not just a business loss, but also a person left financially and emotionally broken, questioning their abilities and future. Meanwhile, those employed in secure government jobs continued to support their families and contribute to their communities. Allow me to use the leader of opposition's example, which is Corona, as this contrast became even more starker during this pandemic, when about 31% of small businesses shut down permanently, according to the OECD in 2021. So in time of crisis, it was the stability of government employment that sustained millions of families, while young entrepreneurship were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered dreams. Well, even if a young entrepreneur managed to build a successful business, the financial rewards remain unpredictable, as they often depend on unstable market conditions or economic downturns or consumer preferences. According to the Small Business Administration, about 70% of small businesses report unstable income, which make it really difficult for entrepreneurs to plan for a future with confidence. On the other hand, government jobs provide a guaranteed paycheck, ensuring financial stability month after month. That certainly allows young people to manage their expenses, save for future, and plan for their lives without the constant worry of whether their businesses will fail or succeed. So in summary, While entrepreneurship may offer the allure of success, the reality is that many young people face financial instability, unpredictable income, and high rates of failure, which can lead to emotional and economic distress. Thank you.
Honorable judges, dear opponents, and dear audience, today we stand at a crossroads. We're debating whether the power of empowering youth to generate jobs is greater than relying on government employment. While my opponents might argue that government employment offers more security and stability, let me remind you that the true power of our future lies in the hands of those who take initiative. Yes, initiative, one of the 5 most essential pillars of our school's philosophy. Let me ask you a simple question. What happens when you let others solve your problems? You get, well, nothing. You sit back and let others decide your fate. And it's the same here. You're waiting for the government to swoop in and hand you your job in a golden platter. How delusional. Let me take you back to when Ben Francis was only 19 years old. He was working in a pizza shop when he saw an opportunity. Instead of waiting for the government to secure his life, for a government job to secure his life, he launched Gymshark from his parents' garage with only one idea: to design high-quality gym apparel for people who are passionate about fitness, just like him. And today, Gymshark is valued at over $1 billion, and this is the power of initiative in action. Ben could have waited for a traditional job just like everyone else, but he didn't. He faced setbacks, but he never gave up. Instead of sitting back and waiting for the government to provide for him, he created something that provided jobs for thousands of others and built an entire industry. Today, Gymshark is a global brand with millions of customers and a team of dedicated employees, all because a young man decided to take action. Now imagine if Ben followed your path, waiting for the security of a government job. Where would Gymshark be today? Nowhere. Ben would have been just another face in the crowd, waiting for that one government job to secure his life and stability. But instead, he woke up and recognized that initiative is what drives true success, not waiting for opportunities to knock on his door, but creating them. And let's be honest for a second, please. The youth today are facing challenges that no government department can magically fix. We're told that government jobs are secure, safe, and a path to stability. But is that the future we want? Are we really asking our youth to settle for the same old routine, year after year, relying on a system that has consistently failed to meet their growing aspirations? Or do we want a future generation of young people who take initiative, step out of their comfort zones, and forge their own paths? But yet, I can already hear my opponent's words. But what about security? What about stability? Ah, yes, security. The one thing that government jobs promise and rarely deliver. Is waiting for a job really security? Or is it just false sense of comfort? In Morocco, countless young people are stuck in a waiting game. They submit applications, stand in endless lines, and attend job interviews, only to watch their hopes fading away with each day. How reassuring. They're left unemployed, unfulfilled, and let's be honest, lost. The truth is, initiative is the key to unlocking a future where young people aren't just passive consumers of employment, but active creators of it. While my dear opponents keep waiting for Papa Aghnouch to secure a job, while others are making billions out of their business. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today we gather to discuss a matter of immense significance. One that will preserve the stability of our economy. One that will shape the future of our youth. Whether empowering youth or relying on government isn't just a matter of choice, but is a pivotal issue of global importance. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the key advantages of relying on government employment is that the government is typically managed by professionals who expertise in public administration, economics, and labor management. These experts are trained to implement and design long-term policies that addresses countless matters like job creation, but the most important one that sustains equity, a crucial role in our society, in humanity. It's choosing efficient and competent people to be assigned to their respective roles. Young entrepreneurs lack such skills and management to do so. Korea and Finland are great examples that have demonstrated how professional management is able to reduce the unemployment rate by proposing targeted employment programs that focuses mainly on skill development and long-term economics. Ladies and gentlemen, as we live in this world, we happen to forget some highly valuable morals that are to be, especially in the economy world, specifically the job creation section. These values are to be equity, reliability, but most importantly, effectiveness. These values are being neglected, ignored totally by such disappointments by these younger enterprises. Such a miserable thing. Government is composed by the nation and is resourced unlimitedly to deliver trustworthy work chances for its people. Unlike young enterprise, imagine a young enterprise with a lot of workers, but plenty of bills and taxes to pay, but no more resources are left to do so. Until one day, ladies and gentlemen, it broke totally. How many workers will lose their jobs? How many were being abandoned by their fate? I'm truly sorry to state this truth, ladies and gentlemen, but government employment remains top one around the world. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, esteemed jury, and respected opponents, let's all take a moment to refocus. We are not here to argue about the idea of government employment. We are here to debate its effectiveness in solving youth unemployment. And here's the inevitable truth. Government jobs are limited, unsustainable solutions to an ever-growing problems. My opponents keep talking about stability, about government jobs as a safe haven for youth. But in this case, where you consider them as the magic ultimate solution, why are millions of youth still unemployed? Why do we keep hearing about youth frustration, unemployment rates rising, and the economic consequences of a stagnating job market? Dear audience, aren't the youth the architects of tomorrow? The innovators, the creators, the thinkers, the driving force of any economy? And yet, we are told, like my teammate mentioned, to wait for the government to swoop in and hand us our jobs on a golden platter. To depend on government employment, a system that has limitations in capacity and resources. And the truth is, government jobs, the government cannot provide jobs for all. And even so, even if it was able to employ every youth, it would still not address the core issue. What youth really needs isn't just a simple job, but the opportunity to grow and innovate and contribute to the economy. And government jobs, by their nature, are constrained, reactive, and often bureaucratic. So why continue down this path of dependency when we could instead be empowering the very youth we want to help? Instead of waiting for a government job to open, we should be teaching them to create their own opportunities. Think about it. We are living in a digital age where the tools to create and innovate are more accessible than ever, and considering this privilege, we should give them the freedom to build something greater than government jobs. What I mean by this is something sustainable, dynamic and inclusive. We should empower youth to create their own opportunities through innovation, entrepreneurship, and the drive to succeed. The question is, dear audience, why are we trying to keep them in a box when we could just set them free? They should not be expected to wait for opportunities, but to create them. The reality is that the world is evolving, and the government's role is to support that evolution, not limit it. The youth of today are future builders and not future followers, and the government should not hold them back. To conclude, dear audience, the government's role should not be to provide endless jobs, but to create an environment where youth can thrive and lead. And as Franklin Delano Roosevelt so wisely said, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. And this is the vision we must embrace. Thank you.
Dear audience, esteemed judges, and respected members of the government, today, me and my colleagues are debating empowering youth to generate jobs is the solution to unemployment. Doesn't that sound inspiring? A world where every young person fixes the economy by creating jobs? It sounds noble, doesn't it? But let's think about it. How realistic is this idea? Young people face big challenges. They lack money, resources, and more important connections. Asking them to create jobs assumes that they already have these things, but most do not. Most young people are still finishing school, learning new skills, and struggling to pay their basic expenses. Starting a business or creating a job requires money, advice, and support, things young people simply do not have. Here's something important. According to the OECD, over 40% of youth unemployment is caused by not having enough money or the right connections. This isn't about being lazy or lacking ambition. It's a bigger problem. Expecting youth to solve the unemployment crisis is unfair and unrealistic. Governments have always played a key role in creating jobs through public projects, helping businesses grow, and giving support to industries. Governments have created long-term stable jobs. These are big efforts that can't be just left to young people with limited resources. Think about projects like building schools, roads, and hospitals. These create thousands of jobs and help whole communities. These projects need careful planning and support. They can't just be left to individuals. Government-led projects like these help thousands and have been shown to create jobs. So why would we replace this proven solution with the idea that young can fix the problem? Let us not neglect the pressure we put on young people. Not every person is an entrepreneur. Not every youth has the money or time to start the business that can solve unemployment. We are asking young people to carry the weight of an entire economy. This is unfair. Youth are already dealing with educational debts and skill gaps. How can we end the pressure of a changing job market? By putting this responsibility on youth, we ignore the bigger issues that cause unemployment, lack of education, of job training, and companies failing to provide good, stable jobs. These are problems that can be solved by individuals starting businesses. They require the government to act and to create jobs through proper planning, support, and policies. So why should we expect individuals who are already dealing with educational debt and skill gaps to solve such a big problems? The answer is we should not. The solution to unemployment isn't about hoping you to fix everything. It's about creating systems that help everybody, including youth, a chance to succeed. Governments need to create programs that help young people thrive through education, job training, and smart investments. That's the role of the government, not to put the whole weight of solving unemployment on youth. Well, instead of asking, how can we empower youth to create jobs, we should be asking, how can governments and businesses create opportunities that allow youth to succeed without overwhelming them with impossible expectations? Thank you. Ladies and Ladies and gentlemen, let's just stop pretending that the government has a magical solution to youth unemployment, shall we? After all, if they were so good at it, we wouldn't be here discussing this, would we? The truth is, governments simply cannot create enough jobs for everyone. Youth unemployment is skyrocketing, and yet we expect the government to fix everything? How many more empty promises will we hear before we realize the government isn't the right answer? Instead, we should be empowering young people to create their own opportunities. Just look at the countless successful companies started by young entrepreneurs. Companies like WhatsApp, Spotify, or even TikTok, which were created by people under 30 years old. These aren't just companies, they're game changers. So why wait for a job from the government when youth are out there revolutionizing industries? If we keep relying on a system that can't even keep its promises, we'll just keep spinning in circles. Thank you.
Oh, of course it makes perfect sense why the Prime Minister didn't bother defining empowering youth to generate jobs. Who needs clarity when vague slogans work just fine after all? Why waste time explaining how the government plans to equip young people to create jobs when you can just toss around buzzwords and hope for the best? Let's be real. Government-provided jobs are often a better approach because they ensure stable employment opportunities, set industry standards, and address gaps in critical sectors relying solely on youth empowerment. To magically create jobs is like expecting everyone to become entrepreneurs overnight. It's not realistic, sustainable, or equitable for an entire population. In the end, without clear policies and direct action, all the talk of empowerment is just that talk. Or sure, the government doesn't provide security and safety, because clearly police forces, disaster response teams, public healthcare systems, and national defense just run themselves, right? Let's not forget the roads we drive on, the schools our kids attend, or the courts that settle disputes, all figments of our imagination. Sorry. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, depending on government jobs to solve youth unemployment is outdated and ineffective. Helping young people create their own jobs through entrepreneurship not only reduces unemployment, but also sparks innovation, strengthens communities, and builds strong economies. Stories of successful young entrepreneurs shows that with the right support, today's youth can become tomorrow's job creators. It is time to stop relying on the government and embrace the limitless possibilities of entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Well, I would like to refute the member of government argument that we are all sitting around waiting for the government to hand us a job. Really? That's the narrative? Let's pretend for a second that it's entirely on individuals to create jobs while the government does what exactly? Sip coffee and watch from the sidelines? Governments are elected to foster jobs opportunities through policies, infrastructure, and economic strategies. It's their job to create an environment where industries can thrive and employment can thrive. Without their active involvement, we can't magically build thriving businesses or solve systemic unemployment. So no, we're not just waiting. We're demanding accountability from those in power. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's stop pretending we don't know the consequences of a broken system. What happens when our youth are left with no jobs, no future, and no hope? We've all seen it. The rise of drug use, crime, and a generation drifting into the streets. Just look at the statistics. Drug abuse among young people is blowing and crime rates are climbing because many have nothing else to turn to. But yet we still tell them, wait for the government, wait for that job that might never come. How long will we ignore the truth? These young people aren't just waiting for work, they're waiting for a purpose. And when we fail to give them one, we're pushing them into the arms of destruction. They're turning to drugs, to gangs, and to the worst outcomes because we told them that the only path to success was waiting for a miracle from the government. Is this really the future we want? Do we want to keep relying on a system that has consistently failed them? Or do we want to give them the power to create their own opportunities? Empowering you to generate jobs is the only solution. If we don't act, we will keep seeing more lost potential. And it's not just jobs we're losing, it's lives. Thank you.
Well, it's true that many people aren't employed by the government. But ladies and gentlemen, the solution isn't to put the sole responsibility on the youth. Youth capacities are limited. They require government support. So to do so, government is always implemented in the employment. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is clear. Empowering youth to create jobs isn't just a better solution, it's the only way for a sustainable future. And yet, my dear opponents cling to this outdated belief and delusion that government alone can provide endless jobs. But let's be honest, if in fact that approach worked, we wouldn't even have in this debate, and the fact that we are can only prove how flawed their perspective is. You may ask why. Well, it's because their argument is built on dependency and reliability, ignoring the fact that it's a dead-end street, and also ignoring the fact that the limitless potential of our youth. Dear audience, as Steve Jobs famously said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So let's empower our youth to be those people because, dear audience, the future belongs to the builders, not the waiters. Thank you.
Dear judges, esteemed members of the government, and respected audience, we've explored today how relying solely on empowerment to generate jobs fails to address the root cause of unemployment. The truth is, it isn't about ambition or effort, it's about creating systemic change. Young people face financial changes, limited networks, and unequal access to opportunities. These challenges can't simply be solved by motivation or empowerment alone. What is truly required is the government action through strategic policies, investments, and structural reforms. So let's ask ourselves, do we want to gamble the future of entire generations on vague promises? Or do we want proven, sustainable solutions that will ensure stability and opportunity for all? The answer is clear. Systemic change and structured opportunities, not false expectations. Thank you.